this audio might stir something up. It might actually evoke some aggression.
From stumbling into a frightening encounter with a mysterious creature in the woods to the shocking revelations that were picked up by one of the team's state-of-the-art equipment, here's how researchers at Expedition Bigfoot confirmed that they found Bigfoot. To be honest, can we really believe that? Is it really true that this group of cryptozoologists and experts in other fields concerning the paranormal and supernatural have found this legendary cryptid? This news is kinda tough to digest, especially when you consider that the rumors surrounding this fabled creature have been lingering for many centuries. Some would say it has been lingering in the folklore pantheon of North America for quite a long time, because there has never been any conclusive proof that this giant of a creature actually exists out there in the wild. Well, thankfully, the guys from Expedition Bigfoot have dedicated a good chunk of their time and resources to bring the legend of Bigfoot to light once and for all.
Do you hear this? Ronnie, I just heard two very loud, what you would call tree knocks.
The risky search for Bigfoot in southeast Kentucky. That said, to believe that they finally got Bigfoot within their grasp is still a lot for the world to take in. After all we've had as proof that this creature exists have proven to be circumstantial at best. Other times, these Bigfoot enthusiasts look like they're trying to force the world to buy into their narrative with only some unclear photos and videos to show as proof that this creature truly exists out there in the dark and strange woods of North America. Well, the story of the discovery of Bigfoot all began when Dr. Mireya Mayer, the Expedition Bigfoot primatologist, as well as Ronnie LeBlanc, decided to follow a lead that they discovered over in one of the remote forests found in southeast Kentucky. Soon, they realized that they were tracking what they perceived to be the sounds that were created by some large animals.
You keep hearing that sound?
To them, it seems as though these creatures were making these noises while being located in 3 different locations, and as such, you can imagine how difficult this tracking exercise must have been. Not only were they in the middle of nowhere in the dead of night, they had to follow vague clues just so they could have a decent chance at finding the legendary giant cryptid that is rumored to be making such a forest its home. As they were trying to track down the sources of such noises, the team could take solace from the fact that Russell Accord, the expert survivalist, was watching over them from a cliff that was looming about 400 feet above the cryptid hunting pair. He too had heard these sounds that were coming from different locations. To make things even better, he was on hand to help Mayer and LeBlanc follow the lead to one of the sources of the strange sounds that they were hearing in these dark woods. How they were not frightened out of other wits by such strange noises, we do not know. But we are happy that they could hold their mettle long enough to bring this century-old mystery to an end. Eager to make sure that they bring this mystery to an end before they met an untoward end, Mayer and LeBlanc approached the source of the noise as cautiously as they could. As exciting as tracking this creature was, Mayer especially was well aware that they were vulnerable to some of the more powerful creatures that live in these woods in Kentucky, and as such, they had to be as wary as possible. After all, there is no guarantee that Bigfoot will be at the end of this noise that they were following. What if they were actually tracking something truly dangerous like a wolf or a bear? As frightening as such a concept may sound, the team could take some comfort in the fact that the sounds that they were hearing in those woods didn't sound like anything that could come from such creatures. No, they were tracking something truly strange, and with any luck, they were tracking the legendary Bigfoot. As exciting as potentially tracking Bigfoot may be, there was a bit of fear in LeBlanc's voice when he informed Mayer that he may have spotted the creature at a distance. We're not sure which emotions he felt stronger in that moment, but what we do know is that he was driven to run after the creature, even if it was at his own risk. Despite Mayer's pleas to stop and approach the situation with caution, it was clear that LeBlanc was a man on a mission. He was not going to miss this chance to bring the legend and the mystery of Bigfoot to an end. Well, it was easier said than done, especially as they were struggling to find this creature in the dead of night. Mayer was especially ticked off by LeBlanc's failure to maintain composure as they attempted to catch this strange creature in its element. To his defense, LeBlanc was just too excited to let this chance slip. Even if he didn't think he would be fast enough to capture the picture of this creature, he was desperate to at least lay his eyes on it. Unfortunately, despite his chase, The creature would slip out of his reach before he could even get to it.
Isn't this crazy? Look, 3 nests.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't look like anything's changed from last night, so whatever made these didn't come back.
The situation wasn't so dire, though. Soon, LeBlanc began to realize that he recognized where they were. It became clear that this wasn't such a great thing, because he and Mayer claimed to see that this impulsive chase may have taken them a few steps back. So much for making progress, especially as they had only ended up getting so lost that they were back to where they started. This was interesting to LeBlanc, because he had heard that other Bigfoot enthusiasts have had similar experiences with getting lost as they came close to tracking this creature down. As disappointing as this may sound, this may be just the experience that they needed to draw them even closer to the legendary cryptid that is rumored to be hiding in such a place. Until they can bring the creature back to light, they had to overcome the disappointment that they felt in getting lost. As they spoke to one another, Mayer and LeBlanc began to wonder if this was not an accident. Could it be that the 3 creatures that they were tracking out there actually coordinated this scheme to make the pair lose their sense of direction so much that they didn't know where they were anymore? We didn't know that Bigfoot was so sentient. If it is, that just adds another layer to the legend that is Bigfoot. As if that was not scary enough for Mireya and LeBlanc, LeBlanc suddenly realized that these creatures may be a lot closer than they thought. In fact, he believed that they were right there with them. Creepy stuff, especially when you consider that these guys are all alone in the middle of nowhere looking out for the unknown. Maybe they came to this conclusion due to the fact that the sounds that had haunted them not too long ago had come to a complete halt. This was eerie to say the least. What did this silence mean? Does it mean that they had the pair exactly where they wanted them? Could this mean that LeBlanc and Mayer were in real danger? The pair could not tell, but they knew that there was only one way to find out. They were going to have to trigger their stalkers out of hiding. In order to do this, Mayers asked Accord to play some sounds in the hopes that the creatures would react to it. Maybe it could even give them the location of some of these creatures. This experiment would prove to be a bust. Sure, the noise was loud and almost as eerie as the one the creatures were making not too long ago, but it was even eerier to be on the scene and realize that the creatures that may be watching the Expedition Bigfoot team did not react one single bit. In fact, after some time, the team realized that they haven't heard anything from these creatures for over an hour. This could mean that all they may have been doing during all this time was just watching and waiting for something only to get nothing. To be honest, sometimes this comes with the job when you are looking out for some of these mythical cryptids. That is why it is not an easy task at all.
The Lost Coast has been experiencing some historic weather patterns, and right now we're tracking a massive storm that's bearing down on us.
I mean, right here, line of sight.
Yeah.
Looking at this one, I see the one beyond it. That's huge.
Looking for some answers in light of the situation that they had just found themselves in, Accord figured that the reason they seemed to be alone in this wilderness could be because the howl that he had made to maybe attract the creatures out of their hiding places could have actually scared them away. That said, Accord believed that no matter how loud his sound was, it was nowhere as loud or as scary as the ones that were released by the creatures when they were still lurking in the darkness within their vicinity. If anything, it was so compelling that they were driven to do their all to find it. However, the team found that they may have to recollect themselves before proceeding any further with this search for the legendary cryptid. After some reviews, they were grateful that they had come away from this experience with some of the most compelling items of evidence when it comes to the legend of Bigfoot. Apparently, one of Accord's state-of-the-art microphones had been recording the strange events of that entire night the whole time, and as such, they had something extra juicy to review when they got back to their base. Before returning, though, the team figured that they should listen to their recordings for a bit. Upon a quick listen, Accord and the rest of the team realized that a part of this noise may have been coming from a ridge that was close by. This could be a very good indication of where the noise was coming from and where one of the creatures must have been hiding when it was stalking them. With any luck, they can get some more information from this when they do a more detailed review of the sound files. For now, though, Accord was so excited about what he considered to be an impressive piece of evidence that he decided that even before they returned to base, he was going to send the file to Bryce Johnson to review. Pretty exciting stuff for a field which seems to produce little to no credible evidence. Already, Accord is excited about what the sound suggests to him at face value. Who knows what else a more detailed review of the file would produce? Well, they would just have to let time pass by before they could get their answers. For now, they had to focus on the task at hand when a new day beckoned. Once the sun illuminated these dark and scary woods, the team eagerly got back to work exploring the woods. Before they got too deep into their work for the day, Mayer decided that this was the time to pull LeBlanc aside. She demanded to know why he decided to risk it all by chasing after the creature before they could ascertain that this was a safe thing to do. He could have easily gotten both himself and her hurt. Upon hearing this criticism, if you can look at it like that, LeBlanc defended himself by stating that he had been looking for Bigfoot ever since he was a little boy. Who could blame him for wanting a face-to-face encounter, especially as he had been dreaming of such an encounter for much of his life? It was an impulsive charge forward, nothing more.
Ronnie, what was that?
I don't know. I've never heard anything like that. That was crystal clear.
As much as she appreciated how exciting such a moment was, she could not ignore the fact that his impulsive actions put himself and the rest of the team at risk. Think about it. Who charges at a Bigfoot in the dark, without even properly ascertaining its position? The simple answer is only a nutter would do so. Mayer was forced to remind LeBlanc that there was no room for any of these impulsive acts when you are working with Team Expedition Bigfoot. Remember, this is a scientific expedition, and the proper procedure must take place every single time. Not only it is so that the doubters won't have any room to dispute what they found out there, it is also so that people won't get hurt while searching for this legendary cryptid. Again, a frustrated Mayer asks who charges at Bigfoot, and to her surprise, LeBlanc insists that he did. In fact, he did so because he wanted to try new things, especially if he wanted to get that face-to-face encounter with the legendary creature. Once more, Mayer was forced to remind LeBlanc that doing so was putting himself and others at risk, especially as it could have been some bear or mountain lion on the other end of the sounds that they were hearing in the woods at that time. Mayer was so annoyed by this that she informed him that if this was one of her own expeditions, he would have been sent packing. She understood that LeBlanc had been waiting for such a moment all his life, but it wasn't good enough to let emotions ruin such a scientific expedition. Although she considered this to be such a silly move on the researchers' part, she was certain that they had common goals of finding Bigfoot or the evidence that would prove that this creature is real. To his credit, LeBlanc did understand where Mayer was coming from. Perhaps a bit frustrating for the doctor and those back at home, he still insists that when it comes to the search for Bigfoot, there are some unusual things that he might do to get his desired results.
Whoa. Whoa, guys. Holy. That means something that just was powerful enough that it reached multiple frequencies. I mean, that just went straight across the entire screen.
It appeared that his motive was to get something that would prove beyond reasonable doubt that this creature does truly exist, and not even the risk of life seemed to scare him off. That said, LeBlanc knew well enough to apologize for his impulsive actions before the pair pushed on with their search for the legendary cryptid. Strange revelations in the search for Bigfoot. As the pair got deeper into the woods, Bryce was just getting to review the recordings that were sent to him by Accord the night before. Before he did that, though, Bryce had something of a mystery on his hand, and he was eager to solve it before moving on to anything else. Apparently, he had to figure out what could have been responsible for moving the trail cams that they left out in the woods some time ago. Apparently, they only became aware of this mystery when they returned to the woods a few days ago, only to realize that this trail cam that they left close to a water source had been compromised by something out there. With any luck, a look at the footage that was retrieved from the camera would reveal who their dastardly culprit was. As he pried into the camera, Bryce did wonder about what could be responsible for messing with the trail cam. Apparently, most models of such trail cams could withstand the most hazardous of environments, and as such, it is a bit of a surprise to hear that it could be damaged to such a level. Fortunately, their camera proved to be one of the sturdier ones, so it should be fine. Thankfully, it proved to be sturdy, so much so that Bryce was able to extract the SD card. This proved to be a great win because it allowed Bryce to take a look at the clips found in the card so that he could see what may have thrown the camera into the water. Before long, Bryce was shocked to lay his eyes on what seems to be a series of spikes when he got to the nighttime section of the recordings. After taking a deeper look, Bryce claimed that these spikes looked like the hair or fur of an animal that may have been a bit too close to the camera. Maybe this could even be the hair or the fur of the legendary Bigfoot. Who knows? For now, though, it seems as though he may have to review some more of the tape if he was going to get any more answers from it. After some time, Bryce's continuous review of the clip extracted from the trail cam revealed that something did indeed throw the camera into the pond. To him, it was so odd to watch the trail cam being moved by some unknown force that was lurking in the forest. He tried to be pragmatic. Maybe it could have been a bear. A bear would be just as big and hairy as a Bigfoot, if not more. And although it doesn't have opposable thumbs, the bear would have enough dexterity to rip the trail cam before launching it into the water. While this is very possible, Bryce asks the question that must be on everyone's mind. Why would a bear throw their camera into the pond?
Large bipedal creature moving through this clearing and into the tree line. Look, right here, right in the center.
Then again, why would Bigfoot throw the camera into the pond? It wasn't like it even knew what a camera was, right? Whatever the situation may be, something definitely threw that camera into the pond, and hopefully there would be some footage that would give us a better picture of what happened within this camera SD card. Funnily enough, this is just one of the pieces of Bigfoot evidence that would leave them with way more questions than answers. Better sit tight, Brycey boy. Such a phenomenon comes with the job when you are searching for the legend that is Bigfoot. The search continues. With that in mind, Bryce saw it fit to inform Mayer and LeBlanc on what he had seen on the SD card that they had sent him. Although there was still nothing conclusive on the SD card, especially when it comes to their search for Bigfoot, Mayer could bet good money that this was the handiwork of their elusive cryptid. Perhaps tired of the paparazzi treatment, maybe it didn't want any cameras in its territory. Well, according to Mayer, this seems to follow the theory that the simplest answers to a question are usually the right ones. To her, this meant that the trial cam may have simply slipped into the water. To hear that it was launched into the water changed that immediately. Maybe the simplest answer here is that the camera was thrown into the water by Bigfoot. When she put her mind to it, Mayer was also able to recall that the trail cam was thrown in the water in the same area as when something strange once ran past her. Creepy. It was in the dead of night as well. What this told the rest of the team is that they may actually be on the right track when it comes to the search for the legendary creature, and as such, this was not the time to let up. For too long, people like them had given all their time and energy to tracking this mythical creature all over the continent. When you are finding clues such as these while you are out there, you can ease up. LeBlanc was this close to looking at this creature dead in the eye. Sure, he could have achieved it at the cost of his life, but maybe it would have been worth it. Maybe it could have been the moment that would finally bring Bigfoot out of the shadows and into the limelight. Alas, the team was not able to achieve that during that encounter, but with their drive and mettle, it looks like they may be the ones who could bring this mystery to an end. From stumbling into a frightening encounter with a mysterious creature in the woods, to the shocking revelations that were picked up by one of the team's state-of-the-art equipment, here's how researchers at Expedition Bigfoot confirmed that they found Bigfoot.